So that brings me to the next topic of you've gone into the cloud model, and now you're in a hybrid model, right? You've gone, let's say, 30% into it or 40% into it. There are still, we meet customers where they face challenges, right? In the hybrid cloud model. What could be the top 2 or 3 challenges, Ravi, what you see from a practitioner standpoint? Though it looks hunky-dory from outside, but what do you think is really happening?
So you gave the first part of it is 30% or 40% or 80% hybrid. Okay, so that is a decision that needs to be understood and taken. Okay, so I would believe that hybrid is a very good model.
Okay.
There is no harm in having a hybrid model, but then it's a decision about how your business is, how large your business is, what your compliances are saying. Banks would say that I would like to keep my core banking on premise, but all the satellites and all the supporting application goes onto the cloud. So there are multiple such strategies based on which you decide on whether it should be hybrid or not. Okay, but then there are dependencies. When you say typically put hybrid in place, the challenges would be related to connectivity. Okay, typically when you're having when you're in an office which has got thousands of branches around. Okay, how do they connect to? Do they connect to hybrid first and go to cloud? Are you looking at cloud first and hybrid model? So it's an absolutely a decision based on how your business has to be considered. Business continuity is again an issue that has to be put in perspective. When you're doing hybrid, how do you do business continuity around it? Right?
So how do you take decisions in such cases? Do you call experts and sit with them and discuss, or is there a methodology in place, or what's your?
Absolutely. I personally believe that all these decisions are first business. The business has to define what they want. Technology can do anything. Right. So I can create a technology which is of $1 million and worth, and I can create technology which is $100 million worth. But what do you actually want is that definition comes from the business. Okay. Do they want continuity? Is a 24-hour downtime good for them? Many businesses would say, fine, it works for me. Someone would say, no, it's got to be $1 billion loss for me. So that is the first decision that comes from the business perspective. And based on what is the input and what are the risks that we are looking, what are the compliances are we looking, are we in Europe, are we under the GDPR, is my data going to travel across continents, okay, are my people spread across. So based on all these inputs that you get, you eventually decide on what kind of model and approach you're going to take.
So there is a methodology in place. Okay.
See, there is a set methodology. There is always a way and a perspective to do it, and then those obviously give you a direction to it. Okay, and then when you bring it down to a lower level, it can be a very planned and scientific way of implementation. Okay, so it's a good merge between both.
Yeah. So again, some of the CIOs I met up with, they still have on-prem DC, right? And then some of them are still battling to see whether it's going to be cloud-first model or it's going to be hybrid, 50, 30, 70. What are your thoughts? How do these guys go about? What is a good approach?
A good approach is cloud first. If you really ask me, it's a cloud first. Because if you don't put cloud first, then you'll not think from the perspective of expanding yourself on the cloud. Okay. So cloud first and DC. Okay, and then what do you want to keep on DC? Why should it be DC? There are legacy systems that you cannot move. The licensing issues. There are applications which are like 20 years old, 15 years old. You just can't move to the cloud because cloud doesn't support it. There can be operating systems. Suppose cloud doesn't support, for example, SolarX. Okay, so if you are running SolarX there, you can't obviously move to the cloud. So there are many factors which may make you do a DC. Okay, but hands down, I would say your thought process has to be cloud first.
So be clear.
Be clear, 100%.
Okay. So it's a CXO call and then executed at multiple levels.
Given a chance, I would say move everything to the cloud. having a hybrid is good. I'm not absolutely trying to. Or multi-cloud strategy is also good. But everything requires skill, requires money, requires expertise to handle. So more you expand, more the.
Okay.